But this infomercial from the 80s, you can YouTube it. You can look on Tom Boo and YouTube. It was definitely outlandish. You know, it's just classic 80s excess, you know. You can be me. Like 10 girls in bikinis around him. And I think he even had a wad of cash in his hand, too.
Nice.
Raise it up here. 300.
3 players.
Moto Rider asks, who's the biggest winner right now? It's Art.
Check.
8-7-7 here. Dan flops a flush draw. And look at this. Garrett's got trip sevens. So here we go.
That is 500.
Dan's going to bet about half the size of the pot here.
And again, it shows Dan having 5,700. He has 10,000 more.
Right. He's got 15,725.
Raise it up.
And Garrett not waiting to raise, just putting in the raise right away.
Also had a guy in there too, right? The straddle had completed, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, you would think that that would make it less likely that Garrett is bluffing here, when the straddle can have a bunch of sevens
It's
here
a
too.
little bit of a tough spot. Dan doesn't
Well,
even
there's
have
the heart. There's the heart.
Unless you turn the heart, but
Yeah.
you know, I was gonna say he's out of position. He doesn't have the nut flush draw. The board is paired, so there's a lot of things going against him. But he turns the flush.
So again, he's got 14,500 in his stack. He's got to add 10,000 onto the graphics there. And if you're Garrett here, are you checking this back? Are you betting sometimes?
Well, big part of Dan's range is going to be flush draws, but Dan can also have
Over pairs, right?
over pairs. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the pre-flop raiser.
2,000.
Gonna bet 2,000. But there's probably not much for Dan to do just to call, right?
Right.
Call and call down. He doesn't have the nut flush draw. The board is paired.
And especially versus somebody like Garrett, I mean, should just probably check call and check the river again.
Now the graphics have sort of reset, but I'm pretty sure that Dan has 14,000 left. So he doesn't have 95. I believe he has 14,000. Although one of those lavenders are broken key, so it's between 10 and maybe 95 and 14,000, which obviously makes this spot. If he's shorter than what we think, then maybe
All
it
in.
isn't all in. And he's all in, and he gets to get called. Looks like he had about 10,000.
Okay.
Looks like he had about 10,000. Snap call there from Garrett. Oh, the river is a 7.
River's a
4
quad.
sevens for Garrett.
There's squads.
Wow.
Wow. Who said he has squads? Was that the dealer?
It's not even going to be a deuce or an 8, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a pretty tough spot for Dan on the flop. I mean, I know Garrett is pretty aggressive with raising, but he's got a lot of things going against him. It's hard to get maximum value out of position. He doesn't have the nut flush draw, and the board's paired.
See 1.7K.
Yep.
Garrett running pure.
Art, you're going to be the big one.
So with Dan's stack there sort of in between, then probably check raising. You like that play? Kind of go
Yeah.
either way. We thought he was deeper than what he was.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
Chris here going to raise it up to 300.
I mean, if I make 3 of a kind, you guys can beat it. You win. Like, not upset about that one bit. You fucking win.
Francisco has
Good
called. We
players
can't
pull
see his
3 of a
hand.
kind. Not my fucking thing. Couldn't wait to get my fucking
Check.
money in the second best hand.
Now, if I was Chris, I would probably c-bet that flop as the pre-flop raiser against the button caller, Jack 7-3, pretty disconnected board. He has
The ace of spades in his hand.
yeah, at backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, 2 overcards.
He check calls. And now Francisco has the king of spades here too. So we've got nut flush draw over second nut flush draw. Check check on the turn, and neither player have a pair. So you wonder if Francisco is going to bluff at it when checked to. Can't imagine that Chris is Chris trying to bet Francisco off of a 7. Maybe he's going to turn his hand. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, it's really a strange way to play it. I mean, if you're gonna check call the flop, it's much better to just bet. And now he's gonna bluff with
He's gonna
ace high.
he's gonna blast it. Yeah, he is gonna blast it. So turning the best hand here into a bluff. 1700.
Now, most likely Francisco's gonna fold, but it wouldn't
King
shock. Yeah, but I mean, but he's not gonna shock me if he like puts in a raise. I mean, he can do some very unpredictable things. I think he's thinking about. He's definitely thinking about it. He's not thinking about calling. I don't think he's just posturing here.
Well, he's cut out calling chips.
Like, it wouldn't shock me if he just like moves all in.
The weird thing is that when you take this line and you overbet the river and you have the ace of spades, what does he have?
Right.
You know what I mean? But the thing is that I guess if he were to move all in, obviously you can't call with just ace high. You know, maybe he checked back a king high flush or something.
Right.
But it is strange if he does. But he's taking a long time with it though. Seems like I think he's gonna give it up here, Key.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's the most reasonable course of action. But I've seen him, you know, go all in spots like this.
Now he's going back to the chips. Now he's cutting out the chips.
His wheels are turning.
And there
we
it
go.
is!
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about.
Key, I got to call you out because you've been incorrect on a lot of your predictions, but you were correct on this one tonight. And look at Chris. He's like, I have the ace of spades.
Yeah. Yeah, Francisco can be really tricky at times.
All in.
And now he rebluffs.
Wow, that's a pretty crazy hand.
What is going on here? He raised back over the top for a rebluff all in.
And Francisco didn't even have that much.
Did he think that maybe Francisco was raising with 8-9 or something? Wow, that is
Wow, that's a pretty
really strange.
so sick. It was a bluff and a rebluff.
I don't know if I've
and a
seen. Yeah,
rebluff.
I don't know if I've seen the bet 3-bet bluff on the river all that much, especially for a pot size bet. Again, if you want to take a look at all of the videos that we've ever done, you can subscribe to Live at the Bike. $19.99 a month gets you access to everything. And of course, you can use the promo code POKER for the first week free.
Wow, what a hand, huh? I would say that definitely qualifies as street poker, as some people would like to say.
J Money 1029 says, Bart, do you think the shove was for value?
No.
What? King 10 here. Francisco here with ace 8. I'm assuming that Francisco has topped off, although we don't see it on the graphics. Nick there with a light 3-bet pre-flop. Gonna use the texture and check it down.
You were bluffing right there? That's cool. That'll be fun.
Were you really?
pretty sure he's not lying now, right? He was just like
Popping off now.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he's just bluffing.
I was bluffing.
I know you were bluffing.
I don't have anything.
What do you think of the best tank?
I didn't have anything. Probably, yeah.
Button moves over here to
I get 8 more.
If you're bluffing, you have ace high, right?
to 10.
That's
I
good.
have king high.
Yeah. He's never bluffing you.
Everyone
Had
said
better
that.
than his side.
Yeah, and that's what Art is saying too. Like, and I don't understand the point. If you think that Francisco is bluffing, why would you move in with Ace Queen? It just doesn't. That's exactly what Art just said.
It's a bad game when
Well,
Art wins.
What hand does Francisco accidentally have that beats Ace Queen? So you're gonna get the bluffs to fold, and then if he actually check back the king high flush, or if he doesn't want to fold the straight, then he's never gonna fold. So what's the point in shoving back with Ace Queen? Queen's here for Nick to seat 5 to 600. Francisco here with King 9 of diamonds from the hijack makes the call.
Look at picture games. Like, there's pictures of Claude and Art at different stages of poker games.
Yeah.
You just have to guess how much they're winning.
Guess how much they're winning early.
Top set here for Nick. Really dry board.
And 2 is right next
I
to it.
see it, man.
So it looks like Francisco limp called pre-flop.
It's actually easy to tell with Art because the picture would just be of him not here.
And
Right.
wow, what a turn.
Check, check.
Chip's
Nick
still
gonna
there,
slow
of
play
course.
here. Francisco
Do
has
you remember
turned
the game where it
diamonds.
was like Robert F. Fitzgerald or Haseeb Karenchi who said it? Does that mean
Francisco
anything to you?
leads out
That's the
for
no, I don't know.
1100.
Okay,
That's
so
the guy who lost to Ashton with the running bet, right?
right. Okay. Anyway, so he had like a bunch of drama.
Wow, and Nick
or
is gonna
whatever
slow play.
about the game. And he used to
Just a
use,
call.
Like absurdly hyperbolic.
And the
Wow.
river is a diamond. Now now the interesting thing here is that
There's this one
will Nick
thread
just
where
call depending on
diamond
sizing?
plus posted, he would just
He
respond
slow played
to
it the
every
whole way, but
comment.
backdoor diamonds have come in.
Just like these.
Well, it
like,
depends on the sizing, obviously.
Yeah, if he
this
bets
other
large,
guy
I
is
think this is
really
just going to
funny,
be a
like,
call because you block
played
all the
this
queens
game
too, right?
where,
Yeah, he's
like,
going to bet
it's
over the
like
size of the pot
really
here.
Yeah, Nick, he's not too happy, but
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see him folding here.
There's always funny shit on there.
Haseeb's post
Wait, he
or
moves
the
all in?
famous
Oh, wow.
What's
Oh,
going on
well,
here?
maybe
He-
Francisco didn't have that much.
No, he
There was,
topped
like,
off.
No way to differentiate.
Yeah, and there's the call. Francisco had this happen exactly the same thing last night against Israeli Ron
You an 8.
with the Queen Jack against the Queen 7.
And Francisco gets instant money back.
Yeah.
And then some.
We were thinking, we were saying he was going to have to call, but he decided to move all in. I guess he only had 3,000 more, but of course the problem is that you've got all the queens, right?
Right.